Hello and welcome to Raw the Fight Within podcast with myself, KUGAN CASSIUS. This week I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by quite a long time friend now.
Yeah.
I think we're probably showing our ages. We are the same age. Malik Scott.
How you doing, brother?
It's been a while.
Yeah, I still look good. I still look even better. And life is good, man.
How are you though?
I'm good, brother. Taking it easy out here in Newcastle. And moving around a bit and fights tonight and just chilling, man.
Cool. I still remember the best interview we ever done. Well, actually, it's two we've ever done.
I already know which ones.
What's that?
I know which ones they are.
Go on, which ones?
Wilder Fury 3 afterwards. That was
yeah.
classic. And before Ortiz and Monte
Bang
Carlo.
on.
Yes.
I remember that. We did that in the hotel room, and then you came to me after the Wilder
yes.
fight. Yeah.
I think it's sweet. It was real decked out over there, too. It
Yeah.
was a nice spot. Yeah, I remember that.
It's a while ago now. I mean, it's been a couple of years now.
Yeah, man. That's good. And we both still in our own genres, you can say, in the same field, but in our own lane, still striving and looking to succeed more and more.
Trying. Still trying.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this then. Like I said, I've given you very loose information on this because I said to you before I wanted to kind of just you to come in with an open and blank mind on this. So currently, right now in your life, if you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? If you could change, would you change anything?
If I could change one thing in my life, right? Let me think. Because the cliche thing to feel and to say is, well, there's no regrets because everything has made me what I am. But I hate to be cliche, and I like to be really in tune to reality. So I would say if I could change anything in my life, it would be 100. It would be 200% more dedicated to anything I had passion in. I would have took no prisoners when it came to anything that had to do with my passion. It's funny I'm saying that because at the age of 42 now, and as a head trainer in boxing, I take no prisoners when I do film study. I take no prisoners when I'm teaching. I take no prisoners or no second step to, you could say, no other trainer. I give props and I give respect and I give my respect and I give my props first. But I'm a lot more dedicated in my life now than I ever was in my adolescence. But if I could change anything, I would put the dedication that I have now 10 times from my adolescence up till now. But that's the beauty of life, though, right there, in a sense, because it imitates art to the highest level, because most people end up in a position, kind of, you could say like me, once we all get older, we realize there's so many other things that we could have done, should have done, and would have done. But, you just move forward and make your goal to just continue to strive towards positivity in whatever that is that you're doing or want to do, or that you're thinking about every day. The worst thing you could be is a pessimist to me in this world. And I can say that because at times I'm a pessimist and I know how that feels to be a pessimist. And it's an awful space of energy, and it's just not a good train of thought to be that way, being, very pessimistic. We should be positive with most things, but the reality of it is we all have pessimism in us, don't we? I'm sure you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Half glass empty.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, Coog. So, yeah, but if I could change anything, it would be 200% more passionate, 200% more dedicated to whatever passion I would have been, whether it would have been a boxer, whether it would have been someone that cut hair, whether it would have been a commentator, whatever it is. I just think your whole life should be dedicated to your passion. And that has to be taught. And coming up in inner cities, I think being led by an example is a blessing when you can see examples before you that's extremely passionate about whatever it is that they're doing. Because, like I said, I'm 42, and I remember it was more than a decade that Kobe Bryant was in the NBA and winning everything and saying his speeches. And I don't know how ashamed I am to say this, but do you know I didn't become really in tune into the Mamba mentality until after he passed away. I always knew Kobe was great. I always knew he could play basketball, but his mentality that he had. I wasn't that in tune with it until after he passed away. Then you see all these speeches, then you go back into the archives of his life, and you see that his whole life was dedicated to having to take no prisoners mentality with everything. And you see people that came up with him as a kid and knew him, and they talk about how obsessed he was with his passion. And I think like that's the key to success, being obsessed with your passion and letting nothing get in the way of it. So
Is mentality the difference between being good and great?
oh, yes, 110%, absolutely. Because there's so many examples of that that's walking around today. I know C plus athletes that are in, you could say, A plus positions. And it's not because they physicality, it's because the mentality that they have. It's because they have a take no prisoners mentality. They refuse to, it's beyond refuse to lose. They refuse to even be denied. They refuse to be anything that they're aiming for. And if they're aiming to be number one in whatever it is that they do, it's like that's all they see. That's a mentality. And that don't come overnight. What we're talking about now is a way that you have to train yourself to be. And you can't train yourself to be those ways only when good things are happening, only when you feel good, or only, I feel like, jogging 10 miles a day, so I'm going to go and do it. Yeah, well, you did it, and that's good, but it really counts the day that you didn't feel like doing absolutely nothing, and you got up and did it. That's unfair, but I hate to say it, but it comes across like this life is about doing what you have to do and not doing actually what you want to do. And that's the art of like discipline. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's art in that as far as discipline is concerned. It's not about what you want to do. It's about you doing what you have to do that's going to make things better for your future or your kids' future or, you know what I mean, whoever it is that you sacrifice for besides yourself.
There's a cliche saying, not just for sport but in life in general, about there's nothing worse than wasted talent, because you see some of the most gifted people in their whatever
Yes.
their fields are. But what you're talking about, they probably lack that in order for them to actually like get to the where
There's
they're meant to be at.
it's absolutely no secret. You showed me an underachiever, and I'll show you so many times in his passion or his career where he lacked mental fortitude.
Do you call yourself an underachiever?
Absolutely, at times, for sure. Absolutely. There's so much more I could have got out of my career, but there was always a lack thereof. Like, you know what I mean? And, you know, how would I put this? I would say, and that comes with the obsession of passion. When you obsess, to me, you're automatically mentally tough. When you're obsessed with your passion, you're automatically mentally tough because you're refusing to have anything besides what you coming to get.
Can that work against you though?
Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, I love it though. I love the journey. I love being extremely in tune to reality when it comes to myself. I love being extremely in tune with not having mirror issues. I love addressing myself, and that's for the negative and positive. I'm never somewhere someone talking. One of these kind of people that talk but don't have a clue of what I'm talking about. If I don't know what's going on, I ask for the information. And my biggest blessing, not just in my career, in my life, is the blessings I have access to. So some people may say, well, whatever it is they may feel about me being a trainer, and some people may say, oh, he's a good teacher, man, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. But a real blessing concerning myself is I got Joe Goosen on speed dial. I got some of the top trainers in the world on speed dial over for years. So any questions that I may have that concern doubt or things that I just may need to know, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling the cheat codes. I could call Barry Robinson literally right now, he'll pick up on the first ring. I could call Joe Goosen right now, he'll pick up on the first ring. When Emmanuel Stewart was here, we had a great relationship. Harold Knight, great relationship. You know what I mean? Fred Jenkins is like my father. My blessing is the things that I don't know, I have access to getting to the information. And to me, becoming a great teacher in anything is about the information that you have access to. And I got access to a lot of information. And a lot of my information don't just come off of YouTube. That's just film study time for my own stuff, but a lot of my information comes from 5 hours being on the phone with Joe Goose and asking him questions, 3 hours talking to Fred Jenkins about the old fights when Archie Moore did this, and how did it feel when Boogaloo Watts beat Marvin Hagler when you was right there? How did he walk to the ring? How was he in the dressing room? When he threw his right hand, was his chin always tucked? And if it wasn't, was he answering the phone when he would throw his... These are just things, I'm just geeked out with the information I have access to. And that's what makes me very dangerous to me, because I take pride in that. Like, you know what I mean? I keep certain relationships very healthy because I know I need those relationships to succeed in life for what I'm trying to do and how I want to elevate the game of boxing from a coaching standpoint.
Have you, or can you think of, if you had never got into, this is question's a bit wild actually to ask you, but if you hadn't got into the industry of boxing, what do you think you'd be doing now? Or what do you like to thought you'd be doing now?
It's not a tough question, because before boxing, I never played sports. I never really even liked sports, but I like sportsmen. I like sportsmen. I could tell you all the information and stories on sportsmen, but I never watched a whole basketball game or a whole football game. I can't tell you nothing about, you know, the intangibles of those sports. I could tell you more about the individuals and what they went through to get to the point that they are at in a life in that sport. Before boxing, man, I was, you know, thinking I was about to be a street punk. You know what I mean? I used to sell angel dust. You know, it's not something that I'm proud of, but if we being extremely transparent, as a kid, I used to hustle in North Philadelphia. I sell angel dust and be boxing at the same time. And this is why I love Fred Jenkins so much, my childhood trainer, because he refused to let me go down that route. He would get out of his bed at 2 or 3 in the morning and leave his family and come hunting for me in the streets of North Philadelphia just to snatch me off a corner and take me back home to my house. And when I say snatch me off a corner, I mean literally. This is not figuratively speaking or metaphorically speaking. I mean literally get out of his van, grab me, throw me in the van, take me home. You better be at the gym tomorrow at 2 p.m. If you're not, I'm coming to get you again. It's going to be worse than it was today. I'm talking about, you know, Fred Jenkins like saved my life. If it wasn't for Fred Jenkins, and this is real peculiar. You want to know why? Because I come from goodness. Like, you know, I don't come from like bad family or anything like that. I just had, you know, coming up in North Philly, if you're not taken away from it and you have tons of inner city friends, and those inner city friends are into everything, and you're allowed to go outside freely, the temptations that come with that is going to be very, very heavy. And in my case, all of my friends was hustling, selling crack, selling angel dust, selling weed, selling, you know, all those type of things. So, you know, I don't come from a rich family. My mom was always doing what she could to make sure me and my brother had when our fathers was doing what they could, and it just was an in and out thing. So I started hustling a little bit, and Fred Jenkins put a stop to that immediately. And you got to realize, I wasn't even a good hustler.
How old were you?
What? I started boxing when I was 12.
No, but you were on the street selling this.
Oh, what, 15, 16, something like that? Yeah. This was like before the Junior Olympics. And I never forget, before that, Fred was like, if you give me 1 year of just staying in the gym and listening to me, I promise I'll make you a national champion. But once I do that, you can never go back to the streets and be doing what you're doing. And I did that, and literally the next year, a little under, I won my first tournament. Then the next 6 months, I was Junior Olympic champion of the whole nation. A couple years after that, I was #1 in the country. As like, you know what I mean? So ever since then, I always keep in mind that Fred Jenkins saved my life for me to, you could say, kind of succeed and save my own life. And he did a very good job at that, because I never turned back.
Would you call that an intervention? At that point of your life?
You could say it, in you know, in a sense. You know, to me, at that point, I would consider myself too young to probably call it that. I would think Fred Jenkins, I just look at him like an angel, man. Like, you know what I mean, the things he used to do for not just me, but all the kids in North Philadelphia. Like, you know, my mom and dad, you know, I didn't always have money to go to tournaments and stuff. And when Fred Jenkins would hear that I wasn't going to a tournament or something because of money, or he would stop that at me and say, no, you're going. I'm going into my own pocket. It's no problem, man. I got you. And what's great about that, and this is why lessons is so good to be given, because they could be passed on, and gems could be passed on, because now I don't even, I believe in really doing things for kids for free. I truly, truly do. At one time, I was running a program in West Hills, California, where Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or something like that, I was training kids just for free, and their parents would drop them off. And that was my way. I'm always doing that. Like, I haven't made it yet, but that's like the Fred Jenkins Foundation for me. Like, everything that I do is like for the greatness of, you could say, for the greatness of goodness, for kids to succeed, because I never want a kid not training with me only just because of money. Money's not that important to me for you not to be in the gym and not ripping and running the streets and not learning a craft or learning something, because the blessing with being associated with me, in my opinion, is this has nothing even to do with boxing. Anybody that come to me, if you spend more than 3 hours with me, I don't care who you are, you're going to leave with a gem that you can carry through life with you. I'm going to give you a jewel. I'm going to say something to you that's going to make you say, that makes sense. I'm gonna keep that. And that's, to me, one of the greatest things about this journey of life that we all take, because the people you meet on it, sometimes they contribute to the next level of your journey. Like, oh, I heard that from him. I'm gonna use that when I get to this level. Then when you get to that level, you hear things from people and you learn, then you take it to the next. And when you get to the pinnacle, you become what you become, not because you're so great, but it's because all the lessons and gems you got on your way there. And that's what I look at it like that's a place that I'm reaching now. Like, I'm appreciating so many gems and so many relationships from people that have, I consider, like, saved me from a lot of negative things coming up. Like, you know what I mean? Because, I love people for, like, you could just talk to me and I could just have a major connection with you. Like, if you say the right thing to me, it doesn't take like so much to win me over. I don't know how cheap that may sound, but if you come to me and you are level-headed, and you come to me and you're in genuine positivity, and you come to me and you're dropping gems on me, and it's coming from a place of you want to see me do well, I got tons of love
Basic
for you.
requirements, though, surely, isn't it?
Say it again.
Basic requirements.
Basic. You would think this is
You would
basic.
think,
You would think this is basic requirement, but
But actually, yeah.
oh yeah, but people nowadays, we live in a world where I always say instant gratification is everything. Everybody want to shuffle and bustle and move right on. But when you come across people that they want to take their time and communicate with you and really go about your well-being and seeing how they can help you with gyms, this has nothing to do with giving material or giving money. I'm talking about just mentality strength, you can say, that we all need and that we all should give each other to move forward in our lives.
At that kind of age, like 15, 16, go back to then, were you getting into altercations at that point? Were you, as you was on the street, were you getting into fights and stuff?
I was like a kid, but I was a hustler, but I wasn't on the street. The blessing with me coming up in the inner city is I was in the street, but I wasn't a street kid.
Yeah.
I knew what it felt like to have good Christmases. I knew what it
course.
felt like to have good times with my family, because my mom, she took great care of me and my brother when our fathers wasn't around. And when our fathers was around, they was like, they were street guys, but they was good people. And I had a great grandmother, and I knew what it felt like to go to suburbs. So one thing I don't want, Cougar, I never want to come across with this cliche story, oh, another boxer come from the street. No. That's not the case here. Please do not, this is not what this is about. This is about a young man that come up in the streets of heart of North Philadelphia, and he found his way, and he found a passion early in his life, and his life was saved. It's about a story of a young man that come from the mean streets of North Philadelphia, but I came through the streets with grace. Like, you know what I mean? I came through the streets of North Philadelphia with grace. And what I mean by that is I never scammed nobody. I never, hurt nobody. I never shot nobody. I never, was some hardcore gangster Scarface. That wasn't my thing. I was a street, like a knucklehead kind of kid, a jokester, but I really just was finding my way. And by the grace of God, I ran into Fred Jenkins at a very early age, and he saved my life because I was getting ready to go down one road of awfulness, and he saved that, and he put the beautiful, noble art boxing in my life, and I fell in love with it, and I never looked back. But I say all that to say, this is not a street story turned into boxing. This is not that. Like, you know what I mean? I came up with good people. I had a grandmother that loved me, a mother that loved me, aunts that loved me. We all used to be together at times, and I knew the difference between right and wrong, and sometimes I still choose to I was about to say do wrong. And even now, as a grown man, I still know the difference between right and wrong and still choose to do wrong sometimes.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
You know what I mean?
But Malik, talk to me about a time in your life, nothing to do with boxing, but just a time in your life where you felt as though you were fighting a losing battle in your life.
I was fighting a losing battle in my life. I never had an addiction. I never had anything like that. To me, it's almost like I know what it feel like to fight demons. I know what it feel like to fight self-doubt. I know what it feel like to just want to not do for yourself, but want to help so many other people, and just feel like you hope your prayers get answered, not just for you, but for the things you can do to help other people. I know what that feel like. I don't really know, like, I just look at my life as an uphill battle because I don't really know how to take my foot off the gas. I'm very good at worrying. I'm very good at overthinking. I'm very good at, being a pessimist at times. I'm very good at that type of stuff, unfortunately. But the fortunate part about it is I know that I'm very good at that kind of shit. And you know what I
I've never
mean?
heard anyone being referred to it as being very good at that stuff. It's not.
Yeah.
You normally mix those kind of two
Because when you
terms
do it,
together.
you
But
do
I
it.
get what you mean. But it just
Yeah.
means you acknowledge that you do that stuff.
Oh
So,
yes, I really
you
do.
know,
I really, really do. And unfortunately, it has cost me in life. It has cost me to miss great opportunities. It has cost me to miss great relationships. But then also, on the other hand, I'm total opposite of those ways sometimes, and I have gained great relationships and have had great opportunities. My life is like this, brother. Even with my feelings, my mood swings, everything is like this. My goal is to just be on cruise control. I don't want to be the highest. I don't want to be the lowest. I just want to be on cruise control, respect everybody, give my respect first, enjoy people, and just make my way and do the things that I want to do concerning myself and helping other people.
what are the everyday battles for you today? Like away from boxing, what are they when you
Okay,
wake up in the morning?
everyday battles for me today is away from boxing. Everything about my life is connected to boxing, so that's very, very hard. Okay. I would say this. I would say when it comes to relationship issues, I would say I'm very insecure with the kind of relationship person I am. I'm extremely moody. One day I could love you and want to hug and cuddle. Then the next day I could love you and hug and cuddle. Then the next day I can want to have absolutely nothing to say to you, and I want you to say nothing to me, because I deal with loner issues. And it's crazy because a lot of times I'm around people, I deal with loner issues, but my loner issues I deal with has nothing to do with the company, because I could have my loner issues are an issue even when I'm surrounded by people. It has nothing to do with the physical being around me.
Yeah.
I think this has to do with the inner thing that comes that probably was installed in me as a kid, just, traveling alone. I never had, as a kid, I will say this, coming up, when it came to, like, I used to see my friends and stuff with all their family at the fights and watch people come and support them. I never really had that because I just was traveling. My people didn't have money to travel. So a lot of times I was on the road alone. And I think I got so used and loved being alone so much in hotel rooms and being alone so much on the road that as a kid, me traveling and becoming a young adult and then an older adult, I really, really enjoy being alone too much to be in any relationship. I really enjoyed, to me, too much. I enjoy my own time to be in a and that can come across very selfish, but I love companionship at the same time. So if you was to ask me what's my struggle is to deal with my loner issues every day, but also needing companionship at times. You know what I mean? That's a very, very tough thing to deal with.
Finding a happy medium between the two?
Yes, because you have to be considerate to someone else, because this person care about you and love you, and now who are you to wake up and not want to have absolutely nothing to do with them? But this is a serious, serious
What's the
issue.
trigger point for that, or do you know what that is?
It's absolutely no trigger point. It could just be I woke up. I want to be left alone. I don't want no one to say anything to me. I want my cigar. I want to go and watch Jersey Joe Walcott. And I don't want no one asking me, am I hungry? Do I want them to cook me anything? How am I feeling? Don't ask me nothing. And if you do ask me something, I may get an attitude to say, yes. What do you want now? I'm leaving. Like, this is like, I don't know. I'm kind of ashamed to talk about this, and because it's a battle of dealing with stuff like this. And this is not even, you could say, with someone or with people. This is these are inner feelings that I feel, that sometimes someone could be doing absolutely nothing wrong to me at all, and I could want them nowhere near me at all. Why? I could wish that I was alone at times where I'm around, you could say, great people, but I'd rather just be by myself right now. I don't know what that is.
I'm pretty certain there's a lot of people listening would listen to this, and I'm not saying, listen, everyone's got their reason. I think part of the problem is, by the sounds of what you're saying, is that you don't know what the problem is. As in asking.
And I'm very open
Yeah.
about the communication. When I'm like this, I ask people, I say, like, because I go and talk to people about 2, 3 times a week sometimes. Like, I do that. I think that's very healthy for the last.
Does it help you?
Yeah, depending on the person I'm talking to, because then after a while it can't become redundant, or you can't make me feel it's redundant. Because once I feel it's literally about a money thing for you, I'm automatically turned off. Now I start judging you. Now I'm not going to come to someone that I'm judging, and here come this issue I deal with. Now you're the subject that I'm dealing with it. Like, just don't like that. Sometimes if you're blessed enough, you get good people you get to talk to, and it's good, and they're able to keep you, you could say, intrigued for a certain amount of time, and that becomes like a good thing, and you look forward to releasing whatever demons, releasing whatever you want to vent, and then that helps a lot. But a lot of times, really, just being alone and watching boxing and having a cigar and a good book, it can be my therapy. Like, everything else is overrated.
But there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Yeah, but yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with it, but I just hate the fact that it's all I need. I wish I was one of these kind of people that, man, like, you ever see people, like, they're very, very family orientated. I'm talking about very, very, like, even with their kids and even with listen to me, I love my daughter and my son to death. I would die for them. I wouldn't even have to think about it. Do you know that there's times that I really don't want to be around no one?
Yeah.
Including just my kids. Like, I just, like, kind of hurts me a little bit to feel that way. But it's like, I don't know what, and that's something I've always dealt with, especially over the last decade. That's been a real thing. Just enjoying being alone. And even though I enjoy it, I kind of wish that, I wish I enjoyed the opposite. I wish I was a lot more people friendly and wanted that companionship and wanted that all the time. Like, you know what I mean? If I wasn't boxing and I never became a head trainer, bro, I am not saying this to exaggerate. I would be somewhere in a dark room just waiting for the exit. Because I don't know, I can't imagine nothing having my attention the way that boxing does. I don't even know nothing that come close from a coaching standpoint, from a fighter standpoint. I just don't.
Malik, this quite leads into this next one. How prominent do you think depression is in boxing, and has depression affected you while you've been boxing?
I think it's, pardon me. I think it's it's very, very common in boxing. But now, at one time, I thought it was very common in boxing, but I think it's very common in sports. And I don't want to say this because this is the sport I'm in, but I think boxers deal with it the most. And the reason why I say that is because the pedigree of, this is not me coming down on fighters, the pedigree of knowing how to go about things, the pedigree of not having to have nothing to be successful in the sport, to me, is a demise in someone, in my opinion. Because how many fighters do you know that literally come from nothing? I mean, and when I say nothing, I'm not saying like hard times. I mean absolutely shit. And they come from nothing, and they are able to get their bodies in condition. They're already mentally tough because they done made it through nothing. So now they're able to get their bodies in condition, meet someone that's into boxing. Now they're a boxer. Now they have some success. Now they've gotten better at a person and more success. But those but they're still the same person mentally that they was before they got the success through boxing. I think the demons come in, however it is that they creep in. And I think the depression starts then, and I think success, the level of success, that doesn't matter with depression, because I know a lot of people that I would consider in great positions that they're very unhappy, and you would think that the money, the fame, the this, the that, that's not it. I know people that actually wish they wasn't in that position, and they wish they was considered a lot more regular.
Do you know what, Malik? Remember the tweet that I saw last week from, I'm not going to name them, but somebody who does the equivalent of what I do in the media. And their tweet was, I don't get how all these rich and famous people get so depressed. That was the tweet, just that. And I really thought, I looked at that tweet and I thought, that's a wild take, like, to put that. Like, this guy is, like, very well known within our industry. And I just thought, I read that and, like I said, I was thinking, hang on, I was trying to work out, how old is that guy? The guy's younger, a little bit younger than me, etc. But what you're talking about there, like, that has zero to do with being depressed. You could win the lottery and still fucking be depressed.
Yeah, you'll just be depressed in a better car. You'll be depressed in a better
You'll be depressed in your Ferrari.
That's what I'm trying to say. And I know tons of people that is in those positions. And you know, if any human have a choice, would they rather be more depressed sleeping in a much better canopy bed and stuff like that than on the floor? Of course. But the problems and your demons never really go anywhere. And you know, by the grace of God, whoever bounced back from those type of dark places, you got to commend them. You got to commend them, because those places are the real darkness. And I don't really play with that. I never see fighters or sportsmen going through dark times and say, "Oh man, I don't know what that's about." He's weak. Like, no. It's a real thing, and I think it's a real thing for people that you least would expect it from. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's a definitely a real thing. I'm sure I've dealt with it. I'm sure I've dealt with depression. I'm sure I've dealt with, just bad times. But I know how to minimize everything and keep everything just simple. That's what I'm good at. So I wouldn't even consider it depression. I just consider this one of the moments in life where I got to just go through some stupid shit. Let me get past this, and it too will pass. And then when it does pass, I look at it like, oh, that was just one of those moments.
Yeah.
And I customize my mentality like that's just
one
of those moments. Yeah. To put yourself in the rut over it and say, oh, I'm depressed. This is depression. I guess depression goes like this. I need to do this drug now and find this vice. I need to go and hit these prostitutes and find this. You got people that really, really search for replacements and for answers in these things. And in doing that search, they put so many miles on their life. And what I mean extra miles, I mean drugs. I mean women. And I'm talking about fast women, not just good women. And stuff like that. And they searching, and before you know it, they didn't put so many miles on their body because they're trying to escape a feeling that they would be better off actually facing and accepting it as a part of life, and it too will pass. And when it does pass, you can't get so happy. Who was it that said this? Probably one of the most intense things that I heard. It was Robert De Niro, right, in the video. And I posted it, this was a few days ago, he was saying that everybody is dispensable, everybody. When things are going good for you, just accept those things. Don't get too excited. Don't think you are better. Don't think none of that. Just breathe and accept it and just move forward with the blessing that you was given, because nothing lasts like that. The bumps are still coming. You're still going to have obstacles you have to get through. You can't have great moments and get too caught up in yourself, or get too caught up in the reward, or get too caught up in whatever it is you're being blessed with, and think like, oh, I can do this now. Man, I'm this now. And no. Just enjoy your blessing and keep on moving smooth, because everybody is dispensable.
I remember, when was it, a couple of years ago, Will Smith gave that speech where he said about, just before he went up on stage, Denzel Washington had said to him, at your highest moment, that's when the devil comes for you. And that was something that...
That was that thing that, I remember that, yes.
But that was advice that Denzel Washington had literally just given Will Smith before he walked on there. And I think that's probably true in a lot of ways. I'm just saying, if you believe or you kind of follow a certain way of thinking, then I kind of get that.
Yeah, and just living on my second half, because I consider when you hit 37 and I'm not gonna be nice. When you hit 40 and on, you're on your second part of life. I don't plan on. I seriously doubt that I live until I'm 80 years old. I'm not even sure I want to. Like I don't have I don't think like the forever. I've never been one of those people that want to live forever. I want to be here for a good amount of time, enjoy the things I'm supposed to enjoy, as long as my kids know I love them and people know I gave my respect first, and I'm good with just whatever happens then. But saying that, there's times that in life you can go through things, right, and you be like, oh, this is such a shit feeling. And literally 72 hours later, you could be in a totally different place saying, oh, I love it here. Everything is everything is good. That's why you just got to say to yourself when those moments happen, first of all, you got to breathe and say, this is just a thing for now. It's another test. It's another obstacle for me to get through. And, even myself saying this now, it's much more easier said than done, Cool. This stuff is so much, because in the moment, it's like, oh, shit, I got to deal with this now. Just breathe. Because you're going to have to deal with it either way, whether you're highly upset or whether you're calm and cool. And the key is dealing with things from a calm, cool standpoint, because you think better like that. And I'm learning that late. I'm ashamed to say it at 42, turning 43 years old soon, that I wish I knew that when I was 22. I wish I knew that when I was 32 or something. I'm a late bloomer. I'm playing catch up a lot when it comes to logic and when it comes to using my common sense on things.
I hear that. It's I was just saying to you before, like you said to me as you walked in, you said like, I remember a time when you weren't a dad, and I was like,
yes,
that part, like my daughter's 2.5, so it wasn't that long ago that I didn't even know that process of being a man.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Big time. And that's another, you could say those blessings are not in disguise, becoming a father. Because my kids can literally not do anything wrong and just do something sweet, and I could break down into tears. My daughter is oh, she's so gracious and so sweet, just like her mom, and just a very, very nice, loveful kid. And she's 11 years old, and sometimes she could just come to me and say, Dad, I wanted to say thank you for everything that you do for me. And instead of being a strong man and saying, oh, baby, I love you, I appreciate you, I'll be like, oh, I'd do anything for you, baby. I love you. And it'd make me tear up. And I'm like, this is way too much. She can't even be regular with me and say thanks, Dad, without me going into tears.
How emotional are you? How emotional are you?
I'm very emotional. I just got finished. I'm super, super emotional, for the better and worse, because sometimes I'm over emotional about, you could say something that is minute, and then I could shed tears by the way how sweet or how soft someone was to me, or how mannerable someone was to me when they didn't have to, how someone can't gain anything from it, but they still chose to go about things with high humility with me, or extremely good manners with me, or something that was given to me. When I say given, I don't mean nothing materialistic, no money like that. I mean, drop gem on me, took their time to explain something to me, things like that.
I'm not asking for a regret in this next question, but
Yeah.
but if you could go back in your life and handle any situation, one situation differently,
Yeah.
what would it be?
I have so many fucking fuck ups. Let me think. I gotta pick out of the fuck ups.
Sorry.
I gotta pick out of the fuck ups. So let me see.
Like one situation, I'm not saying not a regret, but just a situation like you would have just handled a little bit differently, or wish you had.
Oh, absolutely. I have my. So we'll use two people. We'll use my father, who passed away, who was my best friend, right? He, coming up as a kid, he would be in and out the penitentiary. When he was in and out the penitentiary, even though he was in the penitentiary, we would talk on the phone. Our relationship was still strong. I'd go see him through the glass. Sometimes we was able to hug. But if I could change anything, I would have let my father knew that I love him so much more than to me I expressed to him. I always told him I love him, but I would express it in a much more stronger manner to him. I would have wrote him so many more letters in prison when he was away from me. Because the gems he gave me, I believe, is why I'm able to talk and explain myself and express myself in a high manner with people. And and I also, it was somebody that also contributed to my life. And when they went away to prison, his name is Marcus Coates. He used to be my manager. He's my business manager now. When he went away, he went on vacation too. And he went away for, I think, about 3 or 4 years. And when he went away, me and him was on the outs because of something I handled the wrong way. And when he went away, it was like a brother to me. It was no letters from me and him, no communication. And that was 3 or 4 years that he went out. He went without no type of support from me. Those type of things get to me because these is people that gave me so much and helped me out in so many different ways that I wasn't able to be there for them. When to me, in those type of situations, people need you the most. Those penitentiaries ain't no joke. A letter means is $1 million. To be thought about is $1 million. And I used to write my dad, but not enough. I used to tell him I love him, but not enough. Marcus Coates, we still have a great relationship now, even though that happened. He got out. We got a great relationship now. But if I could regret things, it would be not being there for people that was there for me during their toughest times. And that's just 2 cases I'm giving you. I have a few of those like that.
Who's been the most or the biggest influence in your life?
Fred Jenkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, Fred Jenkins, Troy Davis, my father, my brother, who the real reason I started boxing because I was defending him in the streets of North Philadelphia. He has a blount disease. Kids used to tease him. I used to street fight a lot. And my uncle took me to the gym because he seen me fighting in the streets, and that's how I got into boxing. So, like, it's been a few people collectively that helped this dream come true of mine, you could say.
This question is a bit wild, but
There's no question wild. What's
Okay.
wild is not asking me a wild question.
No, it is because I'm like when you were answering it there.
Okay.
Who's been the most negative person in your life?
Most negative?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why that question is not. Well, did you say tough question?
I said it's a bit of a wild question. To
Okay,
ask
well,
a
I would say
person.
why it's
The
hard.
most negative influence in your life.
No,
has
no,
it
no.
been?
The reason why that's hard is because as loveful and as respectful that I am, I'm better at getting rid of people. I'm better at getting rid of bad vibes. I handle people accordingly.
Yeah.
I said this before, Kugan.
I've heard you talk about this a lot, to be honest with you. About eliminating people from your life.
It's so simple. And I'm gonna tell you what's real sad about that. I have people I love in my life, and they're opposite of that, and I just don't understand how they're like that. I don't know how to respect someone that don't respect me. I don't know how to get along and hee ha ha with someone, and they're not like that with me. And this is not a bad thing. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But if I'm not your cup of tea, then you go your way, I go my way, and then we don't even have to talk at all.
Yeah.
So I don't even really deal with negativity because I erase it immediately. I could smell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What song? You can come back to this if you want a couple of minutes to think about it. But what song best explains your life? Is there one?
Yeah, I would say I'm sure Balance by my favorite alternative rock group of all time, Future Islands. They have a song called Balance, and it's about the love for your friend and for your friends and how you're always willing to be there for your friends and how life is about having patience and taking your time and being there for your friend and teaching your friend. And it's a very short song, and Sam Herring, he became a very good. Oh, you want to hear a story real quick? I have a beautiful story you're going to love.
Let's
Cougar.
do it.
This is a beautiful story. I'm a huge Future Island fan. Like huge. Like these guys' music resonated in my veins and in my blood, right? These are my favorite alternative rock band, you can say. One day, I'm at home playing with my daughter. I can't make this shit up, right? I'm playing with my daughter. My phone go off, and it says DM from Sam Herring. I'm thinking it's somebody playing around. I'm like, I know that's not Sam. People know I like Future Island, they're playing. So I said, let me just click and see what these people saying. They're like, Malik, man, how you doing? Heard you're a big fan of the music. I'm in LA, man. Me and a couple guys from the band would love to come to the gym and meet you. But I said, I'm reading the joint like, come on, man.
It was a wind up.
Right? I'm thinking it's a wind up. So, but as the conversation went on and we're talking more and more, and he's let me know how much he know that I dig they vibe and their music, how things like that. He said, man, can we come and meet you tomorrow? So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll give them a time that I'm thinking that they're going to say, oh, it's a little too early. And then that would be the telltale that it really wasn't them. I gave them a time. Say if I said 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
By the time I got to the gym, they was in front of the gym waiting for me. Bro, I got to train my favorite rock band of all time with my favorite songs from them playing while I'm training them.
That's mad.
Took pictures together, gave them eye guy gear. Me and Sam has been in great communications ever since.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you something too, Kugan. I'm the type of guy, right? Once I see people that I know made a huge impact on my life, I am not too cool to go run over to them wherever they is and tell. No,
Yeah.
I'm not one of them. I don't play it cool. Don't act like I want to go over there. Should I go and tell them? No. It's so intense. I need you to know what you did for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the lyric that helped me get through a time.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to tell you the song that you made. I know the pianist that was in the song with you.
Did you film this moment?
Oh, yes, I filmed it. Yes. I put it up and everything. And these guys, they move with so much grace, man, so much grace. They got beautiful, beautiful music. And their music is about, like, the journeys we all take in life and things that we're talking about now. And stuff like that. That was a very good moment. That's like a highlight of my life. I really, really enjoyed that. I really, really did. And the gym was empty. It was really, God he worked so good. Thank you, Father, for that. Because he know how much I enjoyed that. That was good. It was me and them, bro. Me and them.
Memories. That's all all we're left with. At 42, if you could go back in time and advise your 21-year-old self, what would you say? What advice would you give to a 21-year-old Malik Scott?
I would ask Malik Scott, what do you really want to do, and be extremely honest with me. And if he answered me and told me he wanted to be a champion of the world, I would have said, stop everything you're doing besides whatever it is that's moving you forward to becoming a champion of the world. I don't care what it is. I would tell a 21-year-old Malik Scott, you sure you want to do this school thing? Because you might, if you don't really want to do it, don't do it. Go become a champion of the world. Oh wow, I just said that. That comes across extremely uneducated, and that comes across as a disregard to education. But I believe in the Customato way. Customato, he wasn't really very big on school for Tyson. And I remember at one time, Teddy Atlas, they had a thing Teddy didn't get. He was like, this kid, he needs school. What? And he was like, no, what he needs is everything that's conducive to him being heavyweight champion of the world. When I was young, I didn't get that. But now that I'm over, in hindsight, I look back on what it takes to really be at the highest level on this type of journey in this noble art, and what it takes is full concentration. What it takes is, it depends. The greatness I'm speaking of is not just becoming a world champion. I'm talking about the levels of. Cuss didn't say that to Tyson just so he could become a champion. He said that to him from a standpoint of, no, you could be the greatest of all time. You could be the youngest heavyweight champion of all time, and be this big thing that never existed. Like, you know what I mean? And you can't even dream of that level as a kid. Like, you know what I mean? But when you got people on your side, like I would be talking to myself at 21, I would say drop everything that's not conducive to you completing your goal, whatever your goal is. Especially when it's involving sports. And in this case, this is a sport where education means everything, but it means absolutely shit at the same time. Because I know a bunch of dummies that have been extremely successful in boxing. A bunch uneducated dummies that has been, their genius is in the boxing ring. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
What about the argument of having something to fall back on?
Absolutely. That right there comes from the disregard that I just told you that I felt by saying that.
I mean, we get it, totally get it. That if that's your path, then.
But what about so that's a beautiful question, Kugan, because the counter to that is like, what about the people that had something to fall back on, but then when they fell back, they still had nothing to fall back on?
True.
I know people with great educations that was in boxing, that when boxing was over, they was over. And they are high school graduates. Yeah. They went to school. They did that. It's something in this stuff, bro, that is like, how can I put it? it's about the way you move in life. To me, yeah, education is good to have, but if you don't know how to move with that education and make it work for you, then you're just someone with a degree. Yeah, you got it, but what you're
Absolutely. Yeah,
doing with
what are you going
it,
to do with it? No, so
like,
true.
you know what I
Very
mean?
true.
So it's almost like it still goes down to the way you move, the way you cherish relationships, how good you are with people. Do you like being around people? I know I wouldn't, when I consider myself this, I would consider myself a very logical human being that's not really that fine with being around people all the time. So then therefore that takes me out of the loop of so many great opportunities that involve being around people all the time. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, Malik Scott can be articulate. Yeah, Malik Scott, he got a level head. He's very logical and realistic, but you know, he has people issues. He have loner issues. And those right there, those things right there don't coincide with what it takes to be successful in certain things. You know what I mean? So, you know, I really live a life of I've made my bed and I lay in it, and I lay in it pretty well because I know that whatever's happens from decisions that I made, no one made the decisions for me. So there's no one to blame, there's no one to give credit to or take credit from because I look at it like at the end of the day I made my own decisions. And it's not like I try to get better at this stuff. I like being a loner. I'm not like trying to like not be one.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do the things it take not to be one. I'm not out trying to make friends or things like that, especially like in boxing. Because what I noticed, Coog, is like this. I used to love fighters. Like boxers used to be the special people to me. I used to like really like, and I still do. I take up for boxers and boxing, but boxers are extremely, extremely sensitive. Extremely sensitive. So it's almost like if you're not, this is, if you're not from a standpoint with a boxer, because what I do is I give my opinion, right? Sometimes my opinion can rub someone the wrong way. It's just my opinion. But yet my opinion doesn't rub you the wrong way if I'm giving you a praise. You're good with that. You're good with me praising you. But when I say, no, I don't think he could beat this guy, next time I see you and I go to shake your hand, you go like this. Only because I had an opinion about you, because I'm a craftsman and I don't look at this sport from an idol worship standpoint, or I don't go about this business in a sensationalism. Since I gave my opinion and I said, I don't think your style could beat this guy. I don't think your style could beat that guy. I think that guy is better than you in that point. These fighters take it personal. I forgot what fighter it was that Roy Jones said he's seen him and he tried to shake his hand, and the dude told Roy, "Man, don't shake my hand, man." You said what you? It was I think it was Crawford and Spence situation, and it's like, dang, he didn't say nothing derogatory about you. The only time I'm treating somebody like that, you gotta say something about my kids. You gotta come at my family. You gotta come derogatory at me for me. You give your opinion on that would be equivalent to someone saying, "Man, Malik's guy look like shit against Ortiz." I hate to agree,
That
but
fight gets talked about a lot in a negative way, obviously, you know,
yeah, bro,
over the years.
not by more than no one, not by more than me.
You
No
don't
one
take
talks
offense
about.
to that, do you?
Oh no, you can't do that because the same people that's saying that is the same people that was singing my praise when they thought I beat Glasgow, or when they thought I looked good in this fight. When the rabbit got the gun and it's not for the benefit of your conscience or of your ego, you can't all of a sudden not like people. You can't all of a sudden want to cut people off. You can't all of a sudden not want to do an interview with Coogan because he said he thinks such and such will beat you. He ain't talk about you as a person. He didn't say nothing about your mom or your kids. You mad at this man because, yo.
Listen, do you
And
know,
that's just
like,
not you, Coog. I'm
no, I
saying
know
like
we
in
get this
general.
shit all the time with
Yeah,
like, but we
yeah, but
fence it.
fighters do too.
You won't see one video of me calling out any fights.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like if we've been like, I remember going to Kell Brook when he fought Sean Porter years ago, like 10 years ago, and like. I was there as media. I'd only been doing what I was doing for a couple of years, but I was half cheering Kell Brook on. Like, Kell's my boy. I was like, I want him. Like, I kind of get that was like 10 years ago, and I'm not saying like I'd be front row of whatever cheering people on in the situation I'm in now, but I know that fighters get very, very, what you said there, more
Sensitive.
so, they're very sensitive
Very,
about
very.
just an opinion about whether a fighter wins or not. You know, like,
What is this?
I know, but...
I'm gonna tell you something. Let me give you this. I had a guy. I forgot this guy's page. He's a good brother. Boxing Sweet Science 2.0 or something like that. He reached out to me a few times for us to do his podcast, his interview, or something like that. And when I finally was able to get at him, I got at him. He was like, "Yo, man," he's like, "I would love to see Deontay and Ruiz fight." I was like, "Yeah, man, that's the fight. You know, that's one of the fights I would like to see with Deontay too." He said, "Yeah, I like Ruiz in that fight, man. I think Ruiz has a good chance of knocking Deontay out." When he said that, I respected him so much. Now, what did that do right there, Kugan? That open dialogue about the sport. So now I'm asking him, "What you seeing in that?" He's like, "I just feel after 4 or 5, 6 rounds, if Deontay such and such, Ruiz could probably catch him how he caught AJ, and and I'm like, "Nah, bro, but Ruiz, he does this with his right hand, his position to be off." Now we're shooting the language of boxing because we both understand it. It's not coming from a sensationalism standpoint. You're not my enemy because I trained Deontay Wilder and you think what you come is going to beat him. No, that's not how I don't roll like that. You better off having good dialogue with me by saying, "I know your boy can punch, but I got an opinion if he fight Witchcom, and I'm gonna sit down. We're gonna talk about it. As long as you, the only thing that could make me go up somebody's head or feel personal with them is if they derogatory to me and my family. That's all. Anything else about these opinions and boxing and stuff like that, it's all good. You're not my friend because you think you're not cannot not be cool with me because you think Deontay would get knocked out by such and such. That's your opinion, but I know what he get ready to do to your boy."
Does Deontay share this mentality?
Yeah, we go about life different, you know, in a lot
Would
of
he
ways.
take offence if someone was asked whether, like, who would win out of him and AJ, for example?
Yeah.
And if someone legitimately thought
AJ could win?
AJ would, knock him out or whatever, would he take offence to that comment?
Absolutely not.
From no one, he would take.
For absolutely not. But now, if you say Deontay's a bum, AJ gonna knock him out cold.
That's
No,
different.
yeah, we're not
It's
tolerating
different.
that. Right. But this what goes
That's
on in
different.
boxing, though. And when fighters take that personal, I totally get it.
No, totally.
Yeah, I'm with all of that.
Course,
But like not liking somebody just because they're not on your side with a certain fight, not liking somebody because they may have said this fighter is better than you to them, it's just a female trait to me. It's a lot of feminism that goes on with that. It's very feminine to me. Oh, he said he like him more than me. I got an attitude now. He said he might knock me out with a left hook. I ain't talking to him no more. What? Bro, the fuck is that? What? Remember Nick Hennessy that time? I think Huey Fury, they thought Huey Fury beat Joe Parker.
Yeah.
And Nick Hennessy, he was in the back doing camera stuff.
Yeah.
He said, "No, what's going on? What the fuck?"
I mean, what the fuck is going on? That was our video. That was our video in the dressing room right after the fight.
Hey, that's so classic to me. Nobody will ever know I look at that video over and over and over to get a good laugh. Nick said, "What the fuck?" No, really.
I mean, what the fuck is that? Yeah, we filmed
He
that.
didn't
We
get it.
filmed
He
that.
didn't get it,
We
man.
filmed that.
Yeah. Classic.
Okay, last one.
Yeah.
Answer how have you perceived the question, Malik?
Yeah.
Like, I've learned a lot about, like I said, I know we've known each other, but I've learned a lot about you, and the whole odd guy thing now kind of makes complete more sense after this conversation. But despite kind of what you said about, you using that term of being a loner, etc., and sometimes you just want to be left alone without kind of any like self-indication or trigger point. But what is it that's when you wake up in the morning, what is it? Because you still go about your day, you still go and get shit done. So
Absolutely.
So what drives that fight within you? What is it that still makes you get up in the morning and go about your day and get that day done?
Because the medicine is in that. The medicine is to get rid of that feeling, I have to be gone. What will go against that and what will make things worse if I was to sit on my couch and become like most of my critics and not do anything. And what I can't do is do that. What I'm going to do is always move. I'm always going to go chase the opportunity. I'm always going to go teach the craft. I'm always going to be a part of the craft. So my medicine is in the chase. My medicine is in me staying up to 3, 4 in the morning looking at film study, then getting up at 9 and going to the gym teaching, then drilling myself to know how to teach the Pacific drill that I want people to do. And pardon me, and things like that. So the movement and the chase and the hunger that I just have with my passion for boxing, that right there is my medicine. That helps me not want to be like, you could say alone or, fight that loving to be alone or my loner issues. But sometimes, man, I enjoy the companionship as well, too. Don't get me messed up, Kugan. I love the companionship, man. I love love. I love being around my brothers. I love being around. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
just yeah. Every now and again, we'll leave it. We
Yes.
can
Yeah.
we can go with it. I think
I enjoy this journey. I never want to come across. I'm not a meanhead. I'm not somebody stuck in a four corner room staring at candles and wanting to be alone. Mr. T, I pity the. I'm not. That's not it. Like I deal with my issues every day, like everyone else. I'm very transparent with you. You ask me some questions. I hope I answered them to the best of my
Absolutely.
ability, and I'm very honest about my life. My life is an open book. There is no such thing as a tough question to me. The only thing that is uncomfortable is when someone have a tough question, but they won't ask me a question. I'm very comfortable answering any question in the world about me. Yeah. Like any question.
Listen, I know this more so from that interview we did after Fury Wilder 3, and it was, I knew I could ask you anything because there was a lot of stuff that obviously hadn't been spoken about and hadn't been addressed at that point. And you were like, because I asked you before, I was like, is anything, and you were like, no, you asked me what the fuck you
There's
want.
no such thing as an uncomfortable question, brother.
Yeah.
No. And I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, my face and my name is in the internet all over, tabloids, whatever. So I chose this life. And the minute you choose this life to be an open product, you could say to mankind, then you can't get mad at or feel uncomfortable about any questions that come to you. Yeah. I'm enjoying the journey.
Okay, Malik Scott, much appreciate your time. I find this very insightful, so I'm sure people listening or watching this at home. So yes, much appreciate you doing this.
I appreciate it, brother.
For me,
and you did it from a different direction too. I really, really enjoyed this. Did we really talk about boxing?
No, that's the whole point. No, that's the whole point. But I didn't want to explain too much to you. But these podcasts, I'm trying to. There'll always be an element of boxing because the majority of people I'm interviewing are in that.
Is that you field. Like crossing over in a way?
No, I'm still going to still do my shit, but I'm just
I like it.
It's away from me just going. You know, if I was to interview you like in the week, I know IFL did interview you, but if I'm going to interview you and I said, can you predict the first 3 or 4 questions? You're going to predict it. I'm going to ask you about AJ Wilder.
Yes.
So but this is a little bit different where it's like I want to talk less about boxing and more about that person's life. So
I love that, brother. Love that.
Guys, thank you very much for watching and listening, or both. We will see you next week.
Yes.
Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. We are out.